how about comparing City after 18 games this season and also last season? It makes for some interesting reading in many aspects. Now, for games won, draw and loss, okay, read into it what you may, but they've scored more goals this season than they did last year. But this is even more important. They've conceded double the amount of goals, 18 to 9 last year. And I saw a tweet from Didi Hamann, ex-Manchester City player, of course, and this is what he said. Manchester City was a better team without Haaland, even if he scores 40 goals this season. And I'm presuming he means just in the Premier League. He's on 21 as it stands. Harry Kane is second, by the way. Combined together, those two have 36. So, Murph, your take on this first. What do you make of it? Is this true in any sense, do you feel?
No, I don't agree with him. The numbers and the goals scored, look up, you know, he's a forward player who's supposed to score goals. That's what he does. The team have scored more goals. I think the problems they've had defensively and conceded, what was that, double the amount of goals or nearly double, was it?
It's exactly double.
On the graphic there. You know, that's not to do with Haaland. Just because they played a false nine, I don't think that changes their defensive dynamic that much. I don't agree with him. I think that the constant change in the back four, Diaz has missed quite a lot of games, who was exceptional last season. In fact, he's been exceptional for a couple of seasons. And I think it's more about the constant rotation of players and also those tweaks in formations that Danny was talking about earlier. So many times he's messing around with the way they play at the back. I mean, the game they lost at Anfield, I mean, why he's gone there and decided to try and play three at the back and Foden ended up more or less as a left wing-back was, I mean, who are we to question Pep with his success, but it was bizarre. So I think it's more to do with his tweaking and also the rotation at the back rather than Haaland.
Millsy, what do you reckon? Because there has been some talk.
No, I agree with Danny.
Okay.
I think they're a different team. I think that's the problem, and we've seen it so many times. Actually, I think Pep mentioned it in his press conference that now because you have a focal point up front in Haaland, an out-and-out number 9, nobody runs beyond him. You know, he was the furthest player up the pitch. He's the one in the middle of the pitch always. There's not as much movement up front. When they played the false 9, it was players coming in from the wide areas. Mahrez, Grealish, and then Foden breaking through. De Bruyne sometimes running beyond. And it was just, as a defender, just causing havoc because you don't know who's coming from where. You're constantly looking around. I think now they have that focal point. It gives defenders something to sort of to cling onto and go, right, Haaland's not going out wide. He's not going to go outside the 18-yard box. So we can stick together in the middle and we can try and defend that. I don't think they press as much from the front with Haaland in the side. Pep's rule of getting the ball back after, 6 seconds doesn't really seem to apply too much. I've seen them sit back and let the opposition have it an awful lot more this season. So I think they're a team almost, because of Haaland, they're a team in transition, trying to learn about the way that Erling Haaland plays and getting the best out of him. And he's obviously trying to adapt to the team and get the best out of him. This is the best way to play Erling Haaland. This is what he did at Dortmund, running in behind, playing those early balls. But City don't want to play like that. You know, it's a little bit different. You put balls in the box, he'll get on the end of them. That's not City's forte in the last, 4 or 5 seasons under Pep. You know, they don't cross the ball too often. So I just think there's just an adaptation that they've both got to get used to each other.
It's not the end of the world.
Do you not think, Dan, also as well, sorry, Adam, do you not think as well that even at times if there is a low block and there's no space in behind, they can play into his feet and body a bit more and play off him? I think away from home, especially the games I've watched recently, they've been reluctant to get that ball into him at times and play off him. You know, a bit more percentage balls even at times. Just it's like sideways, back in, keep moving. Obviously, he loves the way they move the opposition by. I get it, possession football. But when you've got someone who's so physically powerful, it's not like his touch is bad. We're not talking about an average player. We're talking about someone who can actually get hold of the ball and risk it into him a little bit more.
And he can, from that position, he can either roll players, and roll the defenders and get his shot away. He can go right, he can go left, or he's going to lay it off for the likes of Kevin De Bruyne or Gundogan coming onto it, who can drive it goalwards and cause problems. No, I agree. I just think I don't think the break has helped them with the World Cup, having probably 16, 17 players go away to the World Cup, have a 6-week break. They haven't really been able to work on too much in that time. Just as they were getting into their flow, they've had to have this break. And I think that's also disrupted them a little bit.